Here are the directions for Part 2. In this part, you will hear 6 passages, A through F. Each passage will be followed by 2 questions, number 13 through number 24. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
A. Pontevedra, Spain. In recent decades, Spain's historical city of Pontevedra has been transformed into an urban environment that promotes family life. The mayor says Pontevedra used to be a city that was heavily polluted and had a lot of traffic accidents. However, rather than just trying to improve traffic conditions, the local government decided to adopt a policy of pedestrianization. The policy banned street parking in the city center, which led to a large reduction in vehicle usage. Now, public spaces have been redesigned for people on foot rather than for vehicles. Not surprisingly, CO2 emissions in Pontevedra are down by about 70%. What is more, crime has decreased, and the population and birth rate have risen. There were early protests from business people who feared the local economy would suffer, but that has not happened, and the city's policy has been well received overall. In fact, the political party which implemented it has enjoyed repeated election successes due to its popularity.
Questions. Number 13. What is one change the local government made? Number 14. What has been one result of the city's policy?
B. Hyperthymesia. People with a rare condition known as hyperthymesia can recall nearly all their experiences, starting from a young age. Interestingly, brain scans reveal some differences between their brains and those of ordinary people. But in many ways, the memories of people with hyperthymesia are quite similar. For example, when memorizing lists of words or remembering faces, their memories are sometimes no better than those of ordinary people. However, for people with hyperthymesia, memories of personal events do not fade in the way that other people's memories do. Unfortunately, people with hyperthymesia can find it difficult to overcome emotional pain and regret because they can easily be reminded of unpleasant experiences that happened far in the past. People with hyperthymesia recall such experiences as if they had happened very recently, which can be extremely painful.
Questions. Number 15. How are people with hyperthymesia different from ordinary people? Number 16. What is one side effect for people with hyperthymesia? C. The Lex Oppia. The Lex Oppia was a law passed in ancient Rome in 215 BC that limited the amount of wealth women could possess. At that time, Rome faced a financial crisis because it was at war with Carthage. Many historians believed the women's wealth was taken to support the war effort. Women were also banned from wearing large amounts of jewelry and fancy clothing. After Rome defeated Carthage, many Romans demanded an end to the Lex Oppia. Some politicians, like Cato the Elder, however, wanted it to remain because he believed too much wealth had a harmful effect on women. Cato the Elder had a poor opinion of women and claimed luxury led to jealousy and disharmony. but mass demonstrations by women eventually led to the law's removal in 195 BC.
Questions. Number 17. What is one way the Lex Oppia affected women? Number 18. What is one thing we learn about Cato the Elder?
D. Ira Aldridge. Ira Aldridge was a well-known actor in Europe in the 1800s. What made him different from most other actors was his race. He was an African-American born in New York City in 1807, at a time when black people were still slaves in some states. Although Aldridge was talented, black actors were generally kept out of the theater business in the U.S., so he emigrated to England. Aldridge still experienced some racism in England, but he was also recognized for his acting ability. Just a few years after relocating, he became manager of the Coventry Theatre. He acted in and produced plays that expressed his views against slavery. And it is thought that he inspired people to pressure the British government to end slavery. Aldridge also performed for kings and queens all over Europe, and he remains an important figure in both black history and theater.
Questions. Number 19. Why did Ira Aldridge move to England? Number 20. What is one thing we learn about Aldridge when he was in England? E. Satellite rediscovery. One day in 2018, an amateur astronomer received a weak signal from a satellite that NASA had lost contact with in 2005. IMAGE is a multi-million-dollar satellite that performed a number of missions in space. NASA stopped trying to contact IMAGE a few years later because it believed the satellite's power supply had been badly damaged and was no longer working. The amateur astronomer posted information about his discovery on the internet and contacted NASA himself. When NASA scientists found that IMAGE was still functioning, they tried to regain control over it. Unfortunately, its operating system has become out of date, so the project's scientists are trying to develop software that will work with the satellite. NASA hopes it can start controlling IMAGE again and have the satellite send pictures of the northernmost part of Earth.
Questions. Number 21. Why did NASA stop trying to contact the IMAGE satellite? Number 22. Why has it been difficult for NASA to regain control over the IMAGE satellite?
F. Old hospitals find new life. In recent decades, many older hospitals in the U.S. have been closed. One reason is that hospitals today often need large operating rooms and private accommodations for patients. Many older hospital buildings, though, had shared accommodations and smaller operating rooms, so they were unable to meet modern medical needs. In urban areas, many former hospitals are being turned into apartments. Their high ceilings and wide hallways make them easy to convert into separate living spaces. In addition, many are in central city locations, so they are popular places to live. However, Some have been converted into luxury residences, which has angered local people. The hospitals were originally built to care for the poor. Locals say it is wrong for them to be made into living spaces for wealthy people. More recently, there have been efforts to use former hospitals as low-rent public housing for senior citizens.
Questions. Number 23. What caused many older hospitals to close? Number 24. Why are local people upset?